How long are we trying to go for?
Just however long.
All right.
Yes, welcome to Secret Society of Goths. My name's Jacob. I'm here with Hamish of Machine 13. How are you doing today, sir?
Uh, all things considered, I'm okay.
Yeah, you were just in one of those really big storms, weren't you?
Are you referring to Helene,
The big one, yeah.
the big one? Yeah. You know what? I will say it's still recent because we're still finding bodies.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's after the news left after a few weeks, the storm still continue to impact the area. So where I'm at right now, just outside of Asheville, we're doing okay, but there's definitely a bunch of smaller uh, towns in Western North Carolina where they're still finding bodies. There's still grocery stores that aren't up and running. Um, and yeah, there's places where you can go and it still feels like the storm happened last week.
Yeah, when did it happen? How long ago was that?
September 27th is the day it rolled in.
Yeah.
And it was a couple days of like Mad Max, um, where it was just sirens and military vehicles, and everything smelled like gasoline. And then I want to say it was like a month or two before we got water and Wi-Fi fully back. So yeah, pretty hairy time.
That's crazy. We had something like real similar just happen in Texas too. I'm sure you saw that on the news about the little girls getting swept up in the
Right.
flood.
Yeah, no, it totally broke my heart.
Yeah, what was crazy about that is my grandma's a Sunday school teacher in East Texas, right?
Mm,
One of her girls was at that camp and they went down there that night to get them. And they got that little girl, like I think they said it was like just before the cabin that she was in got swept away. Just fucking insane.
Jeez. Yeah, it's almost hard to believe even when you're actually in it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Was any of your own equipment damaged? Did you lose any stuff in the storm?
Oh yeah. So I had a few inches of mud in my house, which was enough to render it unlivable just because of the water damage and the mold. But yeah, there's we still have equipment that has Helene mud on it, and I haven't gotten to the point where I even want to clean it off. Like I almost kind of want to keep it there.
Almost like it's like almost like a badge.
Yeah, exactly. Like yes, this keyboard stand still has Helene mud on the bottom.
It's crazy. All right, let's light it up a little bit. Give us a little history of Machine 13. How did this come to be?
Uh, I got a concussion. Essentially. So, without getting into too many details, I was at work and I got hit with a big steel beam and cracked my head open, 10 staples. And then after I got out the hospital, I was at home, uh, just recovering and, you know, walk around the house and slobbering. And I started playing with my keyboard that I wasn't really familiar with at the time. And
Excuse me one second, brother. I'll be right.
yeah, no
I hate to
worries.
interrupt. 1 second. I apologize for that, brother.
Yeah, no
Okay, so
worries.
where were we at? You said you had a concussion. You were getting better.
Right. So how Machine 13 started, um, hit my head really bad, was at home recovering from the concussion. Started playing with my keyboards, and the first sequencer I ever made, I titled Machine 13.
Just
And
random number.
yeah, I don't know when you're in that state of mind, like everything just comes to you really easy. And for some reason, I just decided to title it Machine 13.
Hell yeah. I mean, I think it's time to bring back random numbers behind band names. Blink 182 made it famous, but then Sum 41 came up right behind them.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan of that. So it's funny you mentioned that. I've been abbreviating in all the group chats like Machine 13 as M13,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering if I'm definitely on a couple lists, but that probably moved me up
Yeah,
another
because it looks like
spelling.
NS13 a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't because I almost want to like put it on t-shirts and stuff because
Yeah,
like I wanted like the Nine Inch Nails like name abbreviation.
yeah.
But then I'm like, are people just gonna think it's either like a gang affiliation or like some kind of like
Fuck it, I
underground
would do it.
semi-automatic
I would do it
weapon?
anyway, man. Because like you kind of lean into that anyway. Like that's why I like making content for your band is because y'all will lean into the edgier stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, since the beginning of Machine 13, like my background is in video production and media production. So I've
Mhm.
always wanted there to be like a strong sense of like cinematic like aesthetic to the band. Like I've always wanted to feel kind of like an action movie.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm definitely not afraid to like lean into that kind of aesthetic.
Hell yeah. So who are some of your biggest influences?
Number one, Death Grips.
Death Grips. Hell yeah, I
Uh,
can hear that a lot.
yeah. Nine Inch Nails,
Mhm.
Crystal Castles, and then strangely enough, like Turkish rock.
Turkish
Um,
rock.
like old, yeah, like old school, like 70s and 80s Turkish rock, which if you go back and listen to a lot of Machine 13 stuff, there's a lot of like uh Anatolian sort of groove that's happening in the background.
Hell
Of
yeah.
course, like we give it, the full industrial makeover, but a lot of the danceability elements of Machine 13 tracks come from Anatolian rock.
Hell yeah. So are you Turkish?
Uh, I guess technically, I think my great grandfather was
But your
Turkish.
family's been in the States long enough to just be like American at this point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So my mom's Bolivian. I was born in Bolivia.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool.
Immigrated. My dad's American, so I'm a halfie.
Hell yeah. How has the ICE situation been affecting you?
I think generally, I mean, like, luckily enough, I'm light skinned, and
Yeah.
like, depending on where I'm at, I can pass as Caucasian. But you just walk around a little bit more paranoid.
Yeah.
Like like I'll see like black vans going really slow in front of my house, and you know, they're probably slowing down because there's like ducks around. Like I live near water.
Yeah.
But like in the back of my mind, I'll be out there like paranoid at like, 12 in the morning, like drinking. I'm like, huh, am I getting scoped out right now?
I won't go downtown. Like right
Really?
now, I won't go downtown. Like I won't go to shows right now. Like I'm white and like I'm scared to go out. Uh
Damn. And you're in the Austin area, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It's
like,
like I was homeless downtown for like 3 years down there. And then like, when you're there, that long, you get like really tied in with the community there. So you notice when they start vanishing.
right.
Yeah. And I never really seemed like a homeless. So I was
Mhm.
able to like skirt around a lot of the prejudices that come with that. But like I'm also a pretty outspoken content creator.
Right.
And then people are just being disappeared and nobody's reporting on it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fucking scary time. Um, But let's draw this back to the music. Are you
Yeah.
using any of the current events of what's going on at this time to fuel your music, or are you using that as any inspiration?
Yeah. And um, just I think everyone is just generally walking around a little paranoid and a little scared. And I can't get away from that. I'm getting better at managing it, but
Mhm.
I'm trying my best to be mindful, not paranoid, but just because of how everything's happening and it keeps seeming to ramp up every single day. Um, the Machine 13 sound because of that has gotten a lot darker and more aggressive and a lot heavier.
I noticed that a little bit. I kind of noticed that your music was getting a little more. I'm trying to think. The word that comes to mind is scatterbrained, but that's not really the word I want to use. But it does seem less. It seems more focused. It seems like you have like an idea of what you want the piece to sound like.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, in
yeah,
the beginning I think I was obsessed with trying to rip off Death Grips,
yeah.
but still be dancey. And now at this point, I'm like, all right, how can I take all my fear and paranoia, um, and channel that into something that's cathartic and is going to help me like get through this time period of my life.
For sure. For sure. So did you just release a new album or are you coming up with one?
Well, I'm always dropping albums,
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
release music pretty often.
I do it. It's funny. Like I never thought I'd be that person, but like when you look back in history, like this someone like the Beatles or like any or like the Doors, like it used to be pretty common where like every few months
Yeah.
a band would drop an album, and then that kind of went away. Um, but I mean, if the oven is still hot, I'm gonna keep making pancakes. Um, and right now I just have a lot to say, and a lot I feel like I need to put out.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm in a good spot right now, band wise. Like we've grown into a 6-piece act. They're super talented and really good at learning all the tracks. So for the time being, I guess I have this fear of getting old in a few years or too old to be in a rock band. So like I guess I have this in my mind. I need to put out as much music as I possibly can while everything's still humming along like it is right now.
Yeah, that kind of mindset can be like it can be a driver and it can be a killer too. Because like I
Right.
kind of had the same thing for the longest time. I kind of thought that like because I'm 36 now, and I kind of thought that like I guess my parents put into my head that if you weren't like a virtuoso musician at 18, you just shouldn't. You shouldn't even try. You shouldn't be involved at all.
Right.
Um, and I think that's what really delayed me from putting out content. I mean, this is one of the like rare interviews I do, mainly because I was thought that someone put it in my head that I wasn't good enough to be on camera or too old to be on camera.
No, you're crushing it. And you don't look
Yeah,
a
we
day
know
over
that
like
now.
25. That's wild. You said you're 36.
Yeah. Um, so I think we kind of I think at a time that might have been true where like if you weren't like in the late 80s early 90s if you're older than 25 maybe give up, but that's kind of how the market was, and the market's not
Right.
really like that anymore.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was talking with someone the other day. We're like, I mean, kind of to your point, there was a time period where like, youth was a little more glamorized in the music industry, and by and large, the music industry had that kind of money to dump into an 18-year-old and develop them out. So by the time they're 23, 24, they've already had a full career. Then they can OD by 27, and we have enough content to make a whole movie on. But
Several
nowadays, like,
movies, with
yeah,
most of them.
exactly. But nowadays, like, I don't know, you see something like Idols, and like they're in their late 30s, early 40s, really hitting their stride right now. Or you'll see someone like Viagra Boys, where
Hmm.
they're all in their mid late 30s, and
Yeah,
they're really hitting their stride right now. And it almost seems like since there's less and less money in music every year, the longer it takes for a band to kind of break through because you're forced to build everything from the ground up um, through like grassroots movements. So by the time an actual label is interested in you, it might be 10, 15 years, which puts you into your 30s and 40s for some projects.
that's why all the music kind of sounds the same now.
How do you mean?
You haven't kind of noticed that like most of the music in the past like 5 years all kind of like sounds the same.
I think at like that top 40 sort of like Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift,
Yeah, and it's
those
always kind of been
maybe.
like that. Like, but artists aren't being developed. They're not. They're chasing algorithms and views instead of building fan bases.
Right.
And
And it
because of that, they'll find another band. They'll see another band who probably paid for a bunch of bot views, and they'll see that and like, okay, well, that's getting engagement. Do that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is weird. I find it frustrating. I mean, I won't drop names, but I'm sure you're familiar with a long-haired, bearded, cigar-wielding music influencer who gives. I mean, he can give some pretty solid advice to like indie bands, but like his whole thing is
Oh,
like,
oh no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, and
don't
like,
listen to that dude. He has no idea what he's talking about. Like
well,
that is,
yeah, I mean,
I think he is like put in there by the labels to like ruin bands from having a chance.
oh, I don't want to talk too much shit about him and catch flag, but like, it is funny, like the fact that he made the cigar his whole thing, and like, you
I hate
know,
it. I hate it.
traditionally the cigar wielding A&R dude has never been on the artist side.
I know. That's not like it. Like they don't get the joke. They don't. Whatever. It's fine.
Right. You know, it's funny. Like Frank Zappa, I'm not even a huge Zappa fan, but he definitely had some singers on the music industry. But he would talk about like the transition from back in the day. It was like the fat cigar smoking dude in the suit who didn't know what was going on, but would just take chances on stuff. And then eventually it evolved to like the long haired hippie smoking the cigar.
I've seen that interview. I know which interview you're talking about because like
Yeah,
Zappa was saying that like the cigar chompers would at least throw the money out for them.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But back to my original point. That guy really pushes that you should be like, putting all your money into dropping singles, dropping singles, dropping singles, and then grow your project from there, which that has some merit to it, right? That's pretty standard. You drop a single or two before you drop your
I
album.
mean, that's part of it. I mean, you got to put but that's
Yeah,
such cheap advice. I mean,
yeah. Well, to your point, it's like it costs almost the same amount to drop a single as it does for me to drop a whole album or a whole EP. And
mhm.
I don't have a lot of money, so I'm not going to waste my time dropping 12 singles a year when I
Yeah.
could just as easily drop 4 or 5 albums and or EPs for the same amount of money.
But like you wonder if they even like you wonder if they even understand the art of music in the first place. Like they get so caught up in like make a successful song that gets a lot of views that they're not actually like communicating with anybody.
Right.
They're not actually building like you won't ever see any like the cigar chomper influencers telling you to like talk to your fans in the comment section. Like stand at the merch booth after a show, like engage with your audience. Because
Right.
really, what I see a lot of is I'll see a lot of artists who will hire me to make them videos, but then do nothing to promote the videos. Like this is for your benefit. And then
Right.
after they'll play a show, and then at least in the 2000s when they're out back smoking weed, you go smoke weed with the bands, but now they'll just vanish after a show. Like you got to engage with your audience.
Right. Yeah. No, just stuff like that that seems to get overlooked.
Yeah. Well, what can we look forward to? What you got coming out?
For Machine 13, oh, am I allowed to say this? So we're going to attempt to do something we've never done before. So one of the critiques of Machine 13 is that our recorded material is vastly different than our live material, which is a fair critique because I'll bring the recorded material to the band. They'll look at it, and then we flesh it out into a format that we can play as a six-piece band.
Mm.
And of course, in that process, the songs change pretty drastically as far as how they're presented sonically. And there's a lot of people that have come up to me like, "Hey, man, I've listened to your stuff on Spotify before I came to the show, but like your live show is a completely different thing." Um, and for a while, I kind of shoved that to the side because that's a critique that Death Grips fans have made. I've heard it with Nine Inch Nails fans. Um, but we're at the point now where I think we're going to take a swing at making a compilation of songs that are recorded in our live uh, setting. So basically, we're going to take our live act and we're going to take it to a studio and we're going to try to take our live show and put that on a record.
Oh yeah. I've actually kind of liked that when bands would do that. Um, there was a band called Knife Fight back from East Texas that I used to go see a lot. They were kind of like an electro indie pop band. And yeah, like when you got their albums, they were all electro pop. But when you saw them live, it was almost harsh noise. And yeah, I liked that. I liked, if I wanted to, listen to the album, I would listen to the album. When I go to a show, I kind of want to have an experience. And kind of when you're one of those bands that will have a different live version of a song than a studio version, it kind of gives you the license to constantly expand upon the song.
Right.
If you once your audience is already pretty familiar with you and familiar with your set, they come to the show kind of like expecting something new every time. That kind of draws them a little more because it's a fresh
Right.
show every time.
No, I hear you. I definitely think there's merit to that, especially in today's day and age. Like I just saw Nine Inch Nails, on this tour that they were doing, and they definitely had some songs where it was. This is going to sound exactly like the record, but they definitely took a few tracks and they completely uh took them apart and put them back together in a way different way that I've never heard before. And I think there's merit to that, and that's something super cool, like you're saying. I think like nowadays, you have the license to do that, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we got re-recordings coming out, and what else I wanted to ask you about shows? What shows do we have coming up?
Right now we're just gonna do a few local things this fall. So we're playing Warren Wilson College for their goth wedding, and then we're supporting I can't remember the name. It's not Migos, something like that. I think it's like some Japanese noise band that's coming through.
I was hoping you're going to open up for like Migos, the rappers.
Machine
That
13
would be
opening
awesome.
for Migos would be a
I
wild
would take a
gig.
train trip out for that. That sounds dope as fuck.
That's right up there with one of my other dream gigs is playing for Gathering of the Juggalos.
I saw. I could see that.
I
I
would
think I did see like the flyer
100%.
about that, but I can see you playing that. That would work.
Oh, I would definitely play for the Clowns. That
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I think we got enough footage. Shout out your handles so everybody knows where to follow you.
So you can follow us at Machine 13 underscore the band. If you want to listen to our music, we are on all music listening platforms.
All right. Thank you for coming on, brother.
All right. Thank you so much, Jacob.